modern global university system does not exist to elevate human intelligence. It operates as a highly sophisticated, multi-trillion-dollar hedge fund specifically engineered to mathematically enslave the most ambitious minds of our generation. The macroeconomic landscape is violently shifting, and highly advanced artificial intelligence is currently permanently destroying the premium market value of traditional, specialized academic labor. The incredibly narrow window of opportunity to pivot from a highly educated employee into a sovereign financial owner is closing permanently this year. If you close this video and choose to ignore this clinical reality today, you will voluntarily spend the next 4 decades operating as a perfectly obedient, heavily taxed biological battery, losing millions of dollars of your unrecoverable life energy to unbankruptable student loan interest. The academic elite and commercial banks desperately hide the mathematical architecture of this trap to ensure you remain a highly profitable intellectual hostage. But if you stay here, you will learn the exact, undeniable psychological mechanism of why a prestigious college degree mathematically guarantees permanent poverty, and you will master the elite exit protocol to build invisible sovereign leverage before the academic matrix drains your financial future completely. Society has deeply and systematically conditioned the general population to believe that academic prestige is the ultimate, unquestionable finish line of human success. The traditional narrative dictates that sacrificing a decade of your youth and accumulating massive institutional debt to acquire a prestigious piece of paper automatically guarantees absolute financial safety. This is the single most dangerous, devastating psychological hallucination of the modern era. Holding a medical, legal, or advanced engineering degree does absolutely nothing but grant you the highly expensive permission to enter the highest tax bracket as an active, exhausted laborer. If you do not possess the cold, calculating financial literacy required to separate intellectual prestige from actual commercial leverage, your advanced education actually accelerates your permanent financial destruction. You are actively participating in what clinical economists refer to as the educated poverty trap. You look incredibly successful to your extended family, you command absolute respect in social hierarchies, but your actual liquid net worth is completely and terrifyingly negative. True sovereign wealth is absolutely never measured by the Latin words printed on a framed diploma or the impressive acronyms attached to your professional title. It is strictly mathematically measured by how long you could comfortably and safely survive if your active, highly specialized physical labor stopped completely today. For the vast majority of prestigious professionals who are heavily faking their financial success, that survival timeline is exactly 0. This massive psychological blind spot is compounding aggressively against you every single time you pay your student loan minimums. The educational system actively hides this exact mathematical truth to keep you enrolled. Ignore this next biological reality and become entirely financially obsolete today. Why universities are hedge funds. Let us clinically examine the brutal, undeniable reality of the modern higher education ecosystem. The fatal flaw of the highly educated professional is that they mathematically confuse intellectual accomplishment with actual, tangible financial equity. Because the academic institution granted you a prestigious title after years of grueling exams, your fragile ego instantly inflates, genuinely believing that this social validation translates into real-world power. This is absolute, undeniable psychological insanity. You have voluntarily purchased a massively expensive, incredibly heavy lifestyle using unbankruptable institutional debt. Elite universities are not benevolent educational charities designed to help you succeed. They are highly aggressive, incredibly profitable real estate hedge funds that simply use a college curriculum as their front-facing marketing funnel. They sell you the intangible illusion of prestige at a massive, compounding premium. When you sign the binding paperwork for a $200,000 student loan, you are being biologically trained exactly like a compliant subject in a laboratory to associate the assumption of permanent debt with the immediate, intoxicating reward of social validation from your parents and peers. You own absolutely 0 real equity in this transaction. You do not own the intellectual property of the institution, you do not own the massive campus real estate, and you certainly do not own a fraction of the massive endowment funds that your expensive tuition actively subsidizes. You are essentially renting a highly sophisticated, incredibly stressful intellectual identity from massive global financial corporations. Think about the extreme fragility of your prestigious existence. If the market value of your specific skill completely collapses tomorrow morning due to technological automation or outsourcing, your prestigious degree would mean absolutely nothing. But the massive fixed debts you accumulated to acquire that synthetic intellectual image would instantly crush you and your family. The illusion of intellectual prestige. We must ruthlessly expose the deeply toxic, highly unprofitable psychology of academic arrogance. The traditional education system actively encourages the ambitious youth to adopt the absolute worst financial philosophy in existence, the belief that working harder and studying longer automatically generates massive wealth. They tell you to buy the incredibly expensive postgraduate degree, secure the highly competitive corporate residency, and dedicate your entire youth to memorizing obsolete textbooks while surviving on ramen noodles. They mathematically and logically justify this highly toxic, self-destructive behavior to you by claiming that you are investing in your future earning potential. You do not realize that your extreme desperation to look intelligent is a perfectly calculated variable in the system's financial design. The pursuit of academic prestige is simply the hedonic treadmill weaponized directly against your intellectual ambitions. As your desire for professional status increases, your biological threshold for financial risk rises in exact, immediate parallel. You start viewing premium, incredibly expensive degrees from elite universities as absolute baseline necessities for your basic economic survival. The exact moment you graduate and generate a small amount of legitimate revenue from your specialized corporate job, it is instantly absorbed by the suffocating interest payments of your massive student loans. The academic matrix ensures that you must continue working your exhausting, highly specialized 80-hour weeks just to service the massive overhead of your own fabricated intellectual image. You are running a professional marathon at an absolute sprint pace on a corporate treadmill that you do not even own. You are operating as a highly paid, beautifully dressed, completely exhausted biological asset for the massive hospitals, law firms, and tech corporations you constantly serve. But you capture absolutely zero of the underlying equity. Pay extreme attention right now. What we are about to expose is the single most devastating, entirely legalized wealth extraction mechanism used against intelligent people. If you do not restructure your career trajectory immediately after hearing this, you are volunteering for permanent financial slaughter. Debt as a social control mechanism. The absolute darkest secret of the modern financial matrix, a heavily guarded secret that university presidents and elite professors will never publicly admit, is that the highly educated professional is the single most violently controlled entity in the entire global economy. You genuinely believe that your advanced degree elevates you to the untouchable upper class, but to the global financial system and the massive commercial banks, you are nothing but raw, highly predictable, perfectly obedient livestock. Truly wealthy elite, the business owners, the institutional investors, and the silent capital allocators, operate in a completely different, entirely invisible parallel universe. They build the corporate infrastructure, they aggressively collect massive equity, and they employ highly educated professionals like you to handle the stressful technical labor. The truly wealthy elite, the business owners, the institutional investors, and the silent capital allocators, operate in a completely different, entirely invisible parallel universe. They build the corporate infrastructure, they aggressively collect massive equity, and they employ highly educated professionals like you to handle the stressful technical labor. They do not care about acquiring a prestigious college degree, because they are too busy quietly buying the massive commercial real estate buildings where you proudly go to work every single day. You, on the other hand, operate directly in the center of the financial slaughterhouse. As a heavily indebted professional, you generate massive, undeniable value for the corporation. But before that value ever translates into real, liquid capital in your personal bank account, the government violently extracts the highest possible income taxes because W-2 income is the most penalized money on earth. Then the commercial banks immediately confiscate the rest to pay off your unbankruptable student loans. You spend hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to buy authority, effectively paying the system out of your own pocket to validate your ego. You have absolutely zero financial leverage. The truly terrifying part is that the harder you study, the more aggressively you are penalized. A highly prestigious medical or legal degree does not bring you closer to true freedom. It simply pushes you deeper into a psychological trap where society demands you maintain a massively expensive lifestyle just to look the part of a successful doctor or lawyer. You are heavily subsidizing the financial elite who actually understand the rules of the mathematical game. Until you shift your focus from active, highly specialized physical labor into passive, invisible back-end equity, your entire academic career is just a highly efficient, involuntary donation to the banking system. Why smart professionals die broke? Why do highly intelligent, incredibly capable, intellectually superior professionals willingly participate in this destructive, endless cycle of academic servitude? Because your primitive ego is biologically terrified of looking uneducated. Elite university marketers and behavioral psychologists understand human evolutionary biology significantly better than you understand yourself. In ancient human history, being perceived as low status or lacking technical value to the tribe meant you were denied vital resources, rejected by the group, and left to die in the brutal winter. Your modern brain still carries this exact same biological terror of social irrelevance. It is deeply hardwired into your fundamental DNA. You buy massively overpriced university degrees, you lease premium European vehicles the exact moment you graduate, and you dine at highly exclusive restaurants strictly to validate the decade you spent suffering in a library. You are desperately trying to build a synthetic psychological shield. You are using borrowed institutional money to hide your deep, primal insecurities from the blue-collar workers you secretly, arrogantly believe you are better than. You desperately want the corporate world to look at your framed diplomas and automatically assume you have absolute, unquestionable authority. A true, unshakable authority cannot be purchased with a university acceptance letter and a high-interest government loan. The actual financial elite completely reject this pathetic, highly transparent performance. They gladly embrace the temporary discomfort of looking completely average or even entirely uneducated to the untrained public eye. The truly wealthy architects happily operate massive, highly profitable blue-collar businesses, scale digital monopolies in absolute silence, and live in highly efficient, modest locations while rapidly acquiring massive, invisible equity in the background. They gladly absorb the brutal, arrogant judgment of broke, heavily indebted doctors and lawyers, because they deeply understand that massive, automated daily cash flow and sovereign ownership of assets are the absolute only metrics that actually matter in the real world. The academic algorithm actively monetizes your intellectual arrogance. Every single time you finance a lifestyle you cannot afford simply to prove that your degree was worth the sacrifice, you pay the commercial banks a massive premium to soothe your fragile ego. You are voluntarily funding their generational empires because you are biologically too weak to separate your self-worth from your professional title. The system is perfectly designed to keep you blind, exhausted, and hopelessly indebted until it is far too late to recover your youth. The final protocol I am about to reveal is the exact architecture the top 1% uses to escape the academic matrix. Execute this today, or remain a heavily financed intellectual slave forever. The exit protocol, true leverage. You must aggressively and violently shatter this delusional, heavily financed intellectual illusion today. You must embrace the brutal, cold, mathematical reality of your exact financial situation and instantly admit to yourself that despite your impressive academic credentials, despite your prestigious professional title, you are secretly, mathematically broke. Confess your massive, destructive, ego-driven sins to yourself in the mirror right now. The absolute only way to escape the academic poverty trap is to completely murder your pathetic need for external intellectual validation. You must aggressively lower your visible social status today to instantly skyrocket your actual, invisible wealth tomorrow. Break the suffocating, heavy chains of the academic Skinner box immediately. Stop increasing your lifestyle and renting expensive status props every single time you receive a corporate promotion or a raise. Force yourself to live exactly like a broke college student and violently deploy every single saved dollar into cash-flowing digital assets, private business equity, and tax-advantaged commercial real estate. Build a massive, impenetrable fortress of financial friction around your bank account. Stop relying on your highly fragile, completely active professional income and focus entirely on acquiring massive leverage and generational back-end ownership. Become the silent, incredibly ruthless architect of your own reality. Stop trading your irreplaceable hours on Earth for a prestigious title that the commercial banks use to permanently enslave you. The global financial elite actively suppress this exact psychological truth because they desperately need you to remain a highly stressed, perfectly compliant, highly educated employee completely addicted to synthetic status. They need you to stay exactly where you are in the slaughterhouse to generate their corporate profits. Subscribe right now to quickly join the elite sovereign minority and master the 1% money mindset today. Stop blindly playing the rigged academic game they designed perfectly to extract your energy and your future. Master your mind entirely before the academic matrix destroys your future. Build your massive fortress of absolute sovereign financial power today. See you in the next elite financial protocol.